Thank you so much, Barry Deutsch, for agreeing to speak with me. As you know, one of my favorite books last year was Hereville, How Mirka Got Her Sword.
Thank you.
And are you ready to answer my 5 fabulous questions?
I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm eager.
Excellent. First off is, how did you get started working in comics?
How did I get started working in comics?
Uh-huh.
Well, oh boy, I don't actually have a ready answer for that. I could tell you how how Hereville got started, sort of.
Sure, that sounds great.
Which is, I originally did it as a web comic. And then when I had 57 pages done, which is much shorter than the final book is. I self-published it and, little staple on the side, and brought it into Stumptown Comic Book Convention. And I printed 60 copies to bring there. And while I was there, I was tabling next to a much better known cartoonist, Scott McCloud, and I was selling my comic. And I talk to everyone who walks by at a con. So it's always, hi, have you been looking for a good 11-year-old Orthodox Jewish girl fantasy adventure comic book? Hi, have you been looking for a good, and so on. And by a lucky coincidence, Scott's agent, Judy Hansen, was at that time in Portland, rather than New York City where she lives. And she came by to talk to Scott, and she overheard me pitching my book again and again. And she got curious and picked up a copy. A couple of days later, she was my agent, and a few months later, I had a book deal.
Wow, that's like the fairy tale story.
Other cartoonists really hate me when I tell that story.
Well, my second question is, did you read comics when you were a kid? And if so, who were some of your influences when you were a child?
I read comics constantly. My parents had an original Walt Kelly Pogo strip on the wall. Now, Pogo, for anyone who doesn't know, was the Calvin and Hobbes of the 1950s and 60s. It was the best drawn and funniest comic strip of its day. And this one Sunday strip, I would stand on the back of the sofa and read it and reread it and reread it and study it. So I was obsessed before I could even really read properly. And then at some point, someone got the idea of giving me some Pogo paperbacks, and I was like, there's more? So that was a big early influence. I also used to sit on the floor of the bookstore by the spinning rack where they had all the Peanuts paperback collections, and I would read those over and over again. And then when I got a bit older, I got into Spider-Man and other superheroes.
Oh, fabulous. Well, question number 3 is, what are you currently working on?
I'm currently working on Hereville Book 2.
Yay!
How Mirka Ruined Her Sister's Wedding.
Excellent. Honestly, I can't wait. Question number 4 is, what graphic novel or comics titles have you read in the last year that you think are fantastic for kids?
Fantastic for kids. I Kill Giants. So good. One of the few children's graphic novels that I've read, and I went, oh, wow, I'm jealous. I wish I was this good. So I Kill Comics, absolutely fabulous. Smile was wonderful. Boy, I know that as soon as it's over, I'm gonna think of 10 more I should have mentioned.
You can always write in on the comments.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that.
Excellent.
But also within the past year makes it tougher. But there's a bunch, but I Kill Giants is probably the first one I'd recommend.
You're the first one to recommend that, and thank you for doing that, because it's a wonderful book. All right, here's the librarian ringer question, which is, if you were stuck on a desert island with only one book, and it can be either comics or prose, what novel would that, or what book would that be?
It would be Locust by Jaime Hernandez, which has a few advantages. One, it is super long. The thing's like 600 pages long, so there's a huge amount to read there. And 2, it's drawn by Jaime Hernandez, and I don't think I could ever get tired of looking at his line work.
Perfect. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk with me. I appreciate it very much. And it was a pleasure to do the panel with you, too.
Oh, me too. That was fun.
Thanks, Barry.